Hello friends, I'm Eric Hutchinson. I'm the principal broker and owner of Hutchinson Realty. Welcome to video 2 of my new video series on how to buy a home in Northwest Arkansas. Last time we talked about step number 1, which is finding a realtor. Why do you need a realtor? Because we know the area. We know the local economy. We also know the traffic flow, and we know the schools, and we also know the best places to eat because we like to eat out. So realtors can give you valuable information when you're trying to find a home. Also, if you don't want to hire an attorney to write the contract for you, maybe because of the expense, realtors aren't attorneys, but we do fill in the blanks, and all of our contracts and forms are approved by attorneys. And we do multiple transactions every single year, sometimes 20 or 30 transactions. When was the last time you bought a house? How many transactions do you do in a year? So a realtor can be very valuable in helping you find a home and negotiating your next home. But what's the next step? Where do you need to go from there? I'm going to be talking today about financing. I'm going to be talking about page 1 of the Arkansas real estate contract and how financing can impact in negotiating your next home. So we're going to be talking about that. So let's get into the data, shall we? So I've got pulled up here to your right, on the right of your screen, an Arkansas real estate contract 2022, page 1. And the very first thing that you do is you put in the parties, and then you put in what kind of property you're going to buy, whether it's single family or a townhouse or multifamily, and then you put the address in, and then of course you put in the purchase price, which is a really big deal. And sometimes we get into multiple offers, and sometimes buyers actually go above the list price. But below that is the financing. Now, this is really important because the seller's going to look at this and they're going to judge you, or they're going to determine whether or not your offer is better than maybe another offer, possibly because of the financing. They're going to look at that purchase price, but sometimes the financing can really make an impact. Now, if you've got cash, obviously cash is wonderful because there's no appraisal and you can usually close very quickly. So at the very bottom of the screen, on item number C, it says purchase pursuant to cash. But that's not the great majority of offers. Most of the time, there is financing. In fact, buying a house is usually a person's most or their largest financial investment is usually their home, because you're talking about $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. So usually a buyer needs to get financing. Now, what kind of financing should you get? Now, I'm not a lender, but I would recommend you go to a local lender to get pre-approved or pre-qualified. Now, why do I recommend a local lender? The reason why I recommend a local lender is because the seller is going to be looking at the contract, and they're going to be looking at who your financing is through. If your financing is through an internet lender, they may not be as familiar with that, and they may be a little scared, or maybe the realtor that represents the seller has had a bad experience with an internet lender, and that can work against you. However, a local lender, the seller feels better about. So talk to your realtor about the local lenders. Keep in mind that getting pre-qualified and pre-approved costs you $0. It doesn't cost any money to do that. So you can get pre-approved or pre-qualified through a local lender. And if you decide to go with an internet lender after that, that's okay. The contract says later that you have 5 business days. That's a week to get approved for your loan. So we'll talk about that maybe in a different video. But today we're going to talk about the different kinds of financing. Now, again, I'm not a lender, but I do know how sellers look at this page. And if you have checked conventional loan, like I've got checked over here on the right, that's usually the best case scenario for a buyer as far as it being perceived as good from the seller. And the reason why I say that is that whenever you go VA or FHA or RD, those are called government loans, and sometimes there's a little bit more red tape with that. Sometimes the appraisers are a little bit more strict, and they can actually cause some repairs to be made to the house from the seller, paid for by the seller. So I will tell you that conventional is usually the best, but you may not have 5% to put down, and you may need to go FHA or VA. VA is 100% financing, so is RD. So I would encourage you to talk to a local lender about your options. Get pre-qualified and pre-approved, because whenever the realtor presents the offer to the seller, the first thing the seller is going to ask for is a pre-qualification letter that says that you have talked to a lender and you're pre-qualified or pre-approved. So financing is really, really important. And I want to encourage you for step number 2, talk to a lender and get pre-qualified and pre-approved, because you may be in a multiple offer situation, and depending on how strong your financing is, may depend on whether or not you get the house. So I hope that this video has been informative and helpful for you. Northwest Arkansas is a beautiful place to live, and a lot of people are flocking to this area because we're a little bit more rural, but we still have all the conveniences of a metroplex. We have so much entertainment, we have bike trails, and our economy is just outstanding. Less than a 5% unemployment rate. So if you are thinking about moving to Northwest Arkansas, or maybe you've already made that choice and you need a realtor, I would love to volunteer our company. I represent the company at Hutchinson Realty. I'm the principal broker, and you can always reach out to me with questions at info@hutchrealty.com. You can view every active listing at hutchrealty.com. You can also get a free home evaluation if you're a seller, but you need a realtor. I want to encourage you to go to our website, view the biographies of our realtors, and find one that you connect with, and then start this process. It is a great process, and we make it as smooth as possible. I hope things are going well for you, and if you need help in real estate, we are here for you. May God bless you, and may God bless your home.